right. Here we go. Toss-up 1. Throwing food into running water, a practice known as tashlik, is done on this holiday that precedes the Day of All. Apples dipped in honey are consumed on this holiday, on which a ram's horn, known as the shofar.
Rosh Hashanah.
Correct. 15. Bonus. Satanta was the name given of this son of Lu. For 10 points each. Identify this hero of the Ulster cycle that wields a 7-tip spear known as the gay ball.
No answer.
Incorrect. Cuchulainn. Cuchulainn is a hero from this country's myth system that is documented in the Ulster cycle.
Persia.
Incorrect.
Scotland.
Incorrect. Ireland. Cuchulainn was the hero of this battle at which he was opposed by the Morrigan and fought against the forces of Queen Med.
No answer.
Bounce.
The Potato War.
Incorrect. Cattle raid of Cooley. Toss-up 2. Isoprene-based forms of this type of compound include vitamin A, vitamins A, D, E, and K, and one form of these compounds is formed from the verification of 3 glycerides. And amphiphilic varieties of these compounds are able to form vesicles, while the hydrophobic varieties of these compounds cannot. Fatty acids bound to a glycerol describes the structure of, for 10 points, what group of compounds that includes cholesterol, steroids, waxes, and fats?
Lipids.
Correct. Bonus, answer these questions about our 36th president, Lyndon B. Johnson, for 10 points each. Johnson ran for president in 1964 against what Arizona Republican who was targeted with the Daisy ad?
Goldwater.
Correct. As President Johnson aided in the establishment of Medicare and Medicaid as part of what set of domestic programs aimed at addressing poverty and racial injustice?
Affirmative action.
Incorrect. Bounce.
Great Society.
Correct. When running against Coke Stevenson for Senate in 1948, Johnson received 202 questionable votes in the Box 13 scandal that was connected to what campaign manager who was serving as governor of Texas when he was wounded during the JFK assassination?
No answer.
Incorrect. John Conlon. Toss-up 3. The title character decides to leave Knoxville for good in this author's debut novel, Suttree. This author wrote a novel that designated its 2 central characters, white and black, and was titled The Sunset Limited. His Border trilogy includes a work by John Grady Cole, while he also wrote a novel about Sheriff Ed Tom Bell dealing with drug deals on the Mexican border. For 10 points, identify this American author of All the Pretty Horses and No Country for Old Men.
Hemingway.
Incorrect. Time. Cormac McCarthy. Toss-up 4. The first term of the Maclaurin series of this function is x minus 1, and its derivative is the reciprocal of x. Multiplying 2 numbers and then applying this function is the same as applying this function to each number and then adding those results together. Discovered by John Napier and with the base of e, for 10 points, identify this function that is the inverse of the exponential function.
Logarithmic function.
I'm sorry?
Logarithmic function.
Incorrect.
Natural logarithm.
Natural logarithm. Correct. Bonus. This composition includes movements named La Inverno and La Primavera for 10 points each. Identify this 4-movement concerto meant to invoke different times of the year.
Seasons.
Incorrect.
4 Seasons.
Correct. The Four Seasons is a work by what Italian composer of the contest between harmony and invention?
Vivaldi.
Correct. The title character is jealous of Prince Medoro, who is in love with Angelica, in what Vivaldi opera named for an Italian knight?
No answer.
Bounce.
Orlando.
Oh, sorry, incorrect. Orlando Furioso. Toss-up 5. The White Rajas controlled a kingdom on this island in the 19th and 20th centuries.
Clear.
The Danum Valley is located on this island that is home to the Dayak people, and its highest point is Mount Kinabalu. Sabah and Sarawak are 2 regions on this island that is separated from Sulawesi by the Makassar Strait. For 10 points,
Madagascar.
incorrect. For 10 points, identify this 3rd largest island in the world, which is shared by Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Time. Borneo. Toss-up 6. The Shannon type of this quantity is used in information theory, and the Bekenstein-Hawking formula describes another type of this quantity. The natural log of the number of microstates multiplied by Boltzmann's constant yields this quantity that can be calculated for monatomic gases via the Sackur-Tetrode equation. When calculating Helmholtz and Gibbs free energy, this quantity is multiplied by temperature. Central to the second law of thermodynamics is
Entropy.
correct. Bonus, this Canadian province contains the city of Calgary. For 10 points each, identify this westernmost of the Canadian prairie provinces.
Saskatchewan.
Incorrect. Bounce.
Manitoba.
Incorrect. Alberta. The North Saskatchewan River flows through what city that is the capital of Alberta?
No answer.
Bounce.
Yeah.
Incorrect. Edmonton. The mouth of the North Saskatchewan River is located in what oldest national park in Canada that is located in the Rocky Mountains?
No answer.
Bounce. Banff National Park. Toss-up 7. One character in this novel burns Torquilstone Castle, while another character is hit in the chest with an axe carried by a man nicknamed the Black Sluggard. The title character of this novel fights a duel with Brian de Bois Guilbert and eventually marries Lady Rowena. Robin Hood and Richard the Lionheart help the title character.
Ivanhoe.
Correct. Bonus. The Glen Nye law governs the movement of these structures. For 10 points each, identify these large moving bodies of ice from which icebergs break off.
Glaciers.
Answer, please.
Glaciers.
Correct. These shallow bodies of water are left behind by glaciers and contain quite a bit of sediment.
No answer.
Bounce.
Kraz.
Incorrect. Kettle lakes. These deposits of soil and rock left behind by glaciers come in lateral and ground types.
Flats.
Incorrect. Bounce.
Till.
Incorrect. Moraines. Toss-up 8. The prophet Calchas refused to speak until this hero gave his protection. This man was angered when the captive Chrysis was ordered to be returned to stop a plague, and in turn, this figure's love, Briseis, was taken by Agamemnon. This hero's father was a king of the Myrmidons named Peleus. His mother was the Nereid Thetis, who wished to protect this hero by digging him in the river Styx. Correct. Bonus. This settlement house was built on the north side of Chicago in 1889. For 10 points each, identify this location, co-founded by Ellen Gates Starr to provide a residence for European immigrants.
Whole House.
Correct. Hull House was co-founded by Starr and what other progressive reformer who also co-founded the ACLU?
Adams.
Correct. On several occasions, Adams collaborated with what American pragmatist philosopher who wrote Democracy and Education?
Locke.
Incorrect.
No answer.
John Dewey. Toss-up 9. The author of this novel conducted research for it with the help of his childhood friend Harper Lee. Correct for 15. Bonus. Answer these questions about biomes for 10 points each. What biome that is home to caribou and reindeer is characterized by low temperatures and limited vegetation? Correct. Tundra is often characterized by what type of soil that has been frozen for a minimum of 2 years? Correct. And what biome is characterized by the presence of coniferous forests such as pines and spruces? Correct. Toss-up 10. One scene on this show sees the main antagonist visit an art museum only to blow up an exhibit. In an episode of this show entitled The Empty Hearse, several minor characters discuss how the protagonist of this show faked his suicide in the previous season.
Caroline.
Correct. Bonus. This man called for the federal government to assume state debts in the first report of on the public credit. For 10 points each, identify this first U.S. Treasury Secretary.
Hamilton.
Correct. In 1788 and 1789, Hamilton represented what state in the Confederation Congress?
New York.
Correct. In 1799, Hamilton readied an army to fight in what undeclared war against France, brought on by the refusal of America to pay debts to the French side since they were incurred under a previous regime?
Quasi war.
Correct. And that is the half.
135 to 85. Is that right?
What time is it? Oh, go ahead. All right. Let's just stay walking out, right?
All right, you ready? Toss-up 11. This event was revealed in Lebanon in the newspaper Ash-Shara, and Lawrence Walsh conducted an independent investigation of this event. The action that caused this event was a direct violation of the Boland Amendment, and the official group to investigate this event was the Tower Commission. As a result of this scandal, John Poindexter resigned as National Security Advisor. For 10 points, identify this Reagan-era scandal involving Grayson.
Airline contract.
Correct. Bonus. The title character of this poem shoots an albatross with a crossbow. For 10 points each, identify this poem by English poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Correct. The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is included in what collection of poems by Coleridge that he wrote in collaboration with William Wordsworth?
Lyrical ballads.
Correct. A sonnet by William Wordsworth set on September 3rd, 1802 describes a view from what bridge in London that spans the River Thames?
London Bridge.
Incorrect. Bounce.
No answer.
Westminster Bridge. Toss-up 12. When this disease infects the spine, it causes Pott's disease, and calcified scars known as Gone complexes can be found at its initial infection site. The Mantoux test can be used to diagnose this disease, in which a bacterial extract is injected just beneath the skin. High fever, weight loss, and bloody coughs are symptoms of, for 10 points.
Tuberculosis.
Correct. Bonus. Answer the following questions about the crucifixion for 10 points each. Jesus is crucified next to two men of what profession, one of whom is described in the Gospel of Luke as penitent?
Burglar.
Incorrect.
Thieves.
Correct. A man with this name was assigned to help Jesus carry the cross to Mount Calvary. He shares his name with one of Jesus' disciples.
Peter.
Correct.
John.
Incorrect. Simon. According to John 19:38, after being removed from the cross, Jesus was buried in the personal tomb of what man? Answer, please. Correct.
Andrew.
Incorrect. Joseph of Arimathea. Toss-up 13. After an 1832 journey to Africa, this artist was inspired to paint the women of Algiers in their apartment. This man depicted three men in a boat in the bark of Dante, and included a woman standing on rubble in Greece expiring on ruins of Missolonghi. After seeing a painting by John Constable, this artist was inspired to repaint the sky in his Scenes from the Massacre of Chios. For 10 points, identify this artist who depicted a woman holding the French flag in Liberty Leading the
Delacroix.
Correct. Bonus. For 10 points each, answer the following about an ancient civilization that lasted from 3650 BC until 1400 BC. What ancient civilization whose primary script was Linear A was rediscovered by British archaeologist Arthur Evans in 1900? Answer, please. Incorrect.
Indus River Valley.
Incorrect. Minoans. The Minoan civilization was centered on what Mediterranean island?
Crete.
Correct. Evans' discovery of the Minoan ruins came 30 years after what German archaeologists had discovered the ruins of ancient Troy?
Burner.
Incorrect.
No answer.
Heinrich Schliemann. Toss-up 14. During this president's administration, the wet foot, dry foot policy toward Cuban immigrants was put into place, and he survived an assassination attempt in the Philippines. Operation Allied Force in the Balkans was launched during his time in office that also saw the signing of the Brady Bill and the United States entrance into NAFTA. This former governor of Arkansas was... Yes, correct. Identify the following American sculptors for 10 points each. This man started to design a memorial for the Confederacy, Stone Mountain. However, he is better known for carving 4 presidents' faces on Mount Rushmore. Answer, please.
Smith.
Incorrect.
No answer.
Borglum. What sculptor created the Statue of the Republic in Illinois, but is better known for the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.? Answer, please. Incorrect.
No answer.
Danny French. Although this man did not create monuments, he is known for creating a different type of kinetic sculpture, as seen in his works, Mercury Fountain and Bent Propeller.
Calder.
Correct.
Time. Did you finish the?
Yes, that are the bonuses.
Coaches, I got Grayson 215, Campbell B 95.
That's what I got.
Ready for toss-up 15. This thinker wrote a book for young Galen, a work entitled On the Jewish Question. This man attacked Pierre-Joseph Proudhon in The Poverty of Philosophy, and this thinker has had theories used by Yorki Lukács. This author of Thesis on Feuerbach wrote that history repeats first as a tragedy, then as a farce, in the 18th Brumaire of Louis Napoleon. For 10 points, identify this thinker and author of Das Kapital and the Communist Manifesto.
Marx.
I'm sorry.
Marx.
Correct. Bonus. In one novel, this author created the siblings Dmitri, Ivan, and Alexei. For 10 points each, identify this Russian author of the Brothers Karamazov.
Dostoevsky.
Correct. What protagonist of Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment is arrested for murdering an elderly pawnbroker?
Raskolnikov.
Correct. Underground and Apropos of the Wet Snow are the 2 sections of what Dostoevsky novella, whose unnamed narrator is a former civil servant in St. Petersburg? Incorrect.
No answer.
Notes from the Underground. Toss-up 16. In this opera, a huntsman named Eric has a dream that his love interest will be taken by an unknown man. While a group of men are sleeping, one figure in this opera is visited by a ghostly figure who sings a lament about how Satan has doomed him to roam the seas until he finds a loyal wife. The captain in this opera, Dalland, promises his daughter to the ghostly figure. For 10 points, identify this Richard Wagner opera about Sonata saving a cursed sailor by throwing herself into the ocean. Time. Flying Dutchman. Toss-up 17. A sphaleron interaction was proposed to describe the creation of this class of particles, which are associated with isospin and a strangeness number. The asymmetry of these particles with their antiparticles is a major unsolved problem of modern cosmology. For 10 points, identify this class of particles that consists of 3 quarks and includes protons and neutrons.
Subatomic particles.
Incorrect. Correct. Baryons. Toss-up 18. One work by this author asked, who breaks a butterfly upon a wheel? And he described the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind in his Eloise to Abelard. Another of his works states that a little learning is a dangerous thing. In his best-known work, this author wrote about the Baron stealing Belinda's favorite pearl. For 10 points, identify...
Oh.
Correct. Bonus, answer the following about the Persian Empire for 10 points each. What father of Cambyses II founded the Achaemenid dynasty of the Persian Empire?
Xerxes.
Incorrect.
Darius the Great.
Incorrect. Cyrus the Great. What grandson of Cyrus the Great ruled from 486 BC to 465 BC when he was assassinated by his bodyguard Artabanus?
Darius.
Incorrect.
Xerxes the First.
Correct. Herodotus assigned what name to the group of 10,000 soldiers of the Achaemenid Empire who served as the imperial guard as well as the standing army? Correct. Toss-up 19. The youngest victim of this event was a 14-year-old named Kate Leon. An investigation into this event was led by future Labor Secretary Francis Perkins, and this event led to the trial of Isaac Harris and Max Blanc. This event started on the 8th floor of the Ash Building, which had its doors padlocked from the outside. For 10 points, identify this 19...
Triangle, shirtwaist, after fire.
Correct. Bonus, answer the following about The Great Gatsby for 10 points each. What author of Tender is the Night wrote The Great Gatsby?
That's got the shirt.
Correct. Besides Nick Carraway, what often drunk character was the only one to attend Gatsby's funeral at the end of that novel?
Tom.
Incorrect.
Daisy Buchanan.
Incorrect. Owl Eyes. What Jewish character in the novel is described as a gambler who fixed the 1919 World Series?
Engelberger.
Incorrect.
No answer.
Meyer Wolfsheim. Also 20. This world leader wrote a book entitled Judo with this man in a mountain in Kyrgyzstan was named for him in 2010. Robert Kraft claimed that this world leader stole his New England Patriots Super Bowl ring after he took it off to show it to him. Correct, for 15. Bonus, answer these questions about the 2016 U.S. Olympic basketball team for 10 points each. After surviving 3 scares in preliminary matches, what nation did the U.S. men rout in the finals to win the gold medal?
Serbia.
Correct. The U.S. men's basketball team is coached by what coach at Duke University? Sorry.
Designate Joel.
Yes. The U.S. was led in the gold medal game by what former member of the Oklahoma City Thunder who recently signed with the Golden State Warriors?
Steph Curry.
I'm sorry?
Steph Curry.
Incorrect?
Designate Joel.
Correct. And that's that.